New York Fashion Week is in full swing, with designers from around the world showcasing their latest looks. Many of the garments on display will be made in China, which accounts for roughly 36% of global clothing exports. Other countries like Bangladesh, Vietnam, and India also manufacture a lot of what you'll see on the catwalk. But China is still king when it comes to American imports of clothing.
The fashion industry is starting to feel the chill of the trade war triggered by the Trump administration. Roughly $35 billion worth of clothing made in China is exported to the U.S. every year. While clothing is largely exempt from the list of items currently targeted for tariffs, the worry is that could change.
Just last week, Trump threatened to slap tariffs on another $267 billion worth of Chinese goods. That is on top of the $200 billion worth he's already targeted. If he follows through with the new threat, virtually everything, including clothing and shoes imported from China, would be subject to tariffs. According to a new poll by the U.S. Fashion Industry Association, 2/3 of large-sized U.S. retailers are planning to reduce the amount of goods they buy from China. The reaction among Chinese designers showing at New York Fashion Week was mixed. Vivian Hu, who makes some of her garments in China and some in New York, says the U.S. is her biggest market. If clothing manufactured in China is targeted with U.S. tariffs, she would consider shifting production out of China to other countries.
Of course, we do budget planning, a lot very strictly budget planning. We will check what's going on with the next step. If it turns out it's over our budget, we'll definitely find a better solution.
For the designer of Taorui Wang, a trade war is less of a concern. Her biggest market is China. She is also shielded from any retaliatory tariffs China might enact, as none of her clothes are made in the U.S.
It's slightly different because I don't open a lot of shops on the street. I'm doing made to measure. Made to order, made to measure. So maybe it doesn't really affect my business.
A trade war between China and the U.S. that included clothing would surely hit some designers harder than others. Shifting production out of China isn't done easily or quickly, but perhaps the biggest casualty would be U.S. consumers who would likely see prices rise. Karina Huber, CGTN, New York.